Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Mumbai Speech and Debating Week, where we're going to discuss about WSTC. Yesterday, we had an introduction session. So firstly, let's start with what is the structure of WSTC. It is a back and forth structure of debate where there are 3 members on proposition and 3 members on opposition, right? Proposition first speaker will go first, deliver a speech for 4 minutes, after which opposition first speaker will go next and deliver a speech for 4 minutes. Post which second speaker of proposition will go, speak for 4 minutes, after which opposition speaker 2 will go, again 4 minutes, and then lastly, third speaker of proposition and third speaker of opposition, right? Proposition, opposition, proposition, opposition, and proposition, opposition. Speaker 1 from proposition goes first, then opposition. I hope this is clear, right? So I'm going to ask you a question. Which is the first speaker of the entire debate in WSTC? First speaker in the entire debate in the chat box. Okay. Speaker 1, proposition. Good job. Which is the last speaker of the entire debate in WSTC format? Op 3. Okay. Op 3. Yes, it is op 3. Good job. So I hope you know that it's a back and forth. So it's not going to be all proposition speakers going all together and then opposition. It's just opposition and proposition, proposition, opposition. Okay. Let's move towards the what exactly are you supposed to make sure in your speeches. Okay. So this is what is going to happen. You're going to be given your sides and topics as well. So topics, and then you will be knowing as to whether you're going to support the motion or topic or going to go against the motion, right? So for example, if it is, as I said yesterday itself, if it is, we would ban smoking. If your proposition, you would support it and say, yes, we should ban smoking. If your opposition, you would say, no, we shouldn't ban smoking because of these reasons. All right. So I hope this is clear. The second thing is that all 3 speakers work in collaboration. So the moment as to when you're going to be knowing as to who is your teammate, start talking to each other, get in contact with each other, make a WhatsApp group, talk to each other, and make common cases, right? So you should know as to okay, these are the 2 arguments my first speaker is going to deal with. This is the third argument my second speaker is going to deal with, and the third speaker is going to give rebuttals. And also is going to question a lot on opposition, and is going to give a summary of what we all did together. All right.
Very bad.
Hello.
So
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, hi.
Ma'am, the screen
Yes.
got hanged.
I know, I can see.
Yes, ma'am.
Again. So tell me, have you all, are you all excited to meet your teams? You know
Yes,
that
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I want to
Yes,
quick
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay, so,
Already.
okay, all of you know, I want a quick, yeah, 1 second. I want a quick show of hands as to how many of you are already know your team members. Just raise your hands if you already know your team members.
Me, because I'm sitting.
Okay, you're sitting with them. Okay. So I can make out that a lot of you have to get to know your team members. Okay. So by the end of the day today, we will share the team lists. We are making those teams, okay? For the rest of you who don't know your team members, we'll share that and tell you how to introduce yourself. Okay, so on the WhatsApp group itself, we will tell you that Khushi, this is you are so and so, this is your team member. Just say hello. I can see some hands up. Can we quickly take the doubts, Afreen ma'am, before we begin again?
All right, yes.
Yes.
Students who have registered them for the 25th, so they will also get the team members right
No,
now,
not
or
right now. Because students are still registering. They'll register up to 20th of June. Right now, the team members will be created only for the students who've applied till for 17th June qualifiers.
okay, ma'am.
Yes, Anaisha, go ahead. What's your doubt? All right. Over to you, Afreen ma'am.
All right.
You
So I was
record again.
saying
Record again.
it is recording, yes.
Go ahead,
I
Afreen
am
ma'am.
no longer the host here. I'm no longer the host. So
I can just see Parul, are you here? Parul Suchak.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you just give Afreen ma'am the host rights? I think she had dropped off.
I'm already in a team, so what should I do?
Nothing. Just listen to the training. Parul, are you able to do that?
What?
Yeah, just ma'am, 1 minute. I'm on my cell phone, so I'll just give a try.
Thank you so much. Either just give it to Ugly Future Academy.
Sure, we'll do that.
So just coming to the doubts that are being asked, the scale of 67 to 83 Perry is just a rubric that the judges use. You know, we don't want to give a score of 30, it's too low, or a perfect score. So that's more a judge request.
Ma'am, please check.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, Afreen ma'am, over to you.
all right. So just a sec. Okay. So as I said, since there are going to be 3 rounds, all 3 rounds are going to be basically prepared, but you won't know the side of the third round. Okay. You would know that for the first 2 rounds, the motion is the same, which means that if you are given proposition in round 1, you will be opposition in the second round, which means that you are going to basically prepare for both sides for the first motion anyways, right? Just to make sure that you have understood what this is. My question is, for example, the motion is this house would ban schools, and your proposition in round 1, what would you be in round 2? So the motion is going to remain same for round 1 and round 2. Your proposition in round 1, what would you be now round 2? Good, you will be opposition in round 2. But let's say if the motion is this house believes that earth is flat, and your opposition in round 1, what would you be in round 2? Good job. Yes. So you will basically prepare for both sides anyways, and you will get to know as to whether you're supposed to speak for the motion or against the motion on the spot into which round. Okay. For example, you will obviously have to prepare either ways, right? So let's say your round starts at 8:30. You will get to know if your round 1 is against or for, let's say at 8, right? So you would know as to, okay, this is my for topic and this is my against round, okay? All right, let's now move into how the flow actually works. I think this is something that you guys already know, right? So don't look at it, it's not 3 minutes, okay? It's 4 minutes. All right, so team 1, proposition speaker 1, then once so after every speaker is done, the idea is that between the time you're going to get 15 seconds of grace period before the next speaker starts. So you would probably want to wrap up your thoughts. You would probably want to take some time in order to structureize your speech, etc. So you get 15 minutes in order to start your speech. That's all that I wanted to mention from here. But in order to mark you, there are 3 categories in which criteria in which the judges mark you. One is matter, which is basically what are the arguments are you running? How many points did you include? Did you give good reasonings in the argument? Did you give good logic, good explanation of the argument? And then were there examples used in your argument? So all of it has to be there. Remember, it should have argument, it should have reasoning or logical explanations, and then it should have an example to it. Lastly, you should probably also tell as to why your arguments are more important than that of your opponent. So this is called matter. Second is manner, the way how you're speaking. Are you continuously looking into their notes, or are you actually making eye contact with your like judges and with your teammates and like with your opponents? The second is, do you have a good language, or do you have a good voice modulation? All of it is also going to be considered. Next is going to be method. Did you actually structure your speech well? Did you have introduction in your speech? Did you have conclusion in your speech? Did you actually elaborate your point? Did you have, let's say, good timing in your speech where you're basically ending exactly at 4 minutes and you're not exceeding 4 minutes per se? Okay, so matter, manner, and method. So your speech that you have written should have good research material. Your manner should be basically good language, etc. But your method at the end is like how well timed you are. Okay. All right. Let's now move towards equity rules. But before that, are there any questions on WSDC in general and the criteria as to which you're going to be marked on? I hope there are no questions. Let's move forward. Okay, there is. Archie, what's your question?
Yes, ma'am, I have one question. I did not understand like what topic will be there for the third round.
The third round topic will be different. So you will get two topics. One topic will be for first and second round, and one topic will be for the third round.
Okay.
And we will give you the topic in a bit. Perry?
For it, would we have same opponents for round 1 and round 2?
Will you be?
Will we have the same opponents for round 1 and round 2?
You will have different opponents.
Okay.
Okay. Jigisha?
Ma'am, actually, when they will speak, they are allowed to see their notes for a while, or
Yeah, they're supposed they are allowed to refer to it. Yeah.
what is the scale?
What is the scale as in?
It was written in that PPT
Yeah,
that
that's
scale
not for you.
67.
The scale, yeah, the scale is 67 to 83, which means that if it is a good and average speech, it's going to be 75. If it is above average, the score is going to be more than that. So it's not for you to like be concerned about it right now. But after the tournament, when we're going to release the entire like the scores, you would know as to whether your ward was above average, below average, etc.
It's just a rubric. It's just a score that we score out of 100. Hope that clarifies.
Okay,
Yes,
Advoy.
ma'am.
Okay, advocate. Advoy, go ahead.
Ma'am, you said that there will be one topic for round 1 and round 2, and we will have to do preposition and opposition. So for the third round, there will be another topic, and we have to do either. You will give us.
Yes. For that, you will get the side 1 hour before. So that's interesting and more hectic. So you're supposed to be prepared for both sides, and then you can just quickly revise whichever side you're given 1 hour before. Okay.
But typically when we give the last topic, we give it very simple so that it's not very something that is very research heavy, right? For the third round. So don't worry about it too much. Yajash.
Ma'am, what if the speaker has done his speech before the given time?
That's okay. You can always speak for 2 minutes also.
If there will be a minus marking.
No. There are no minus marking for not speaking till 3. But if you exceed 4 minutes and 4 minutes 15 seconds, then there will be minus marking.
Okay.
Ma'am, this is a generic query regarding what proportion of the participants are you actually targeting for the semis and the finals? As in, is it like top 10 in a category or any certain proportion percentage you decided?
We do it as a combination of some standard rules that we have of how many we want to take to semifinals and finals. But what happens is when we have very higher volumes, then we want to give that chance for the others to come in. So typically you're always taking 2 teams to finals, which means you're taking 4 teams to semi-finals. But when you have higher volumes, then you sort of try to create another round, an opportunity. So this is something that we'll be able to come back to you by 26th of June. That's when we
Sure.
would have the rounds, right? But
Sounds
thank
good.
you so much.
Thank
for
you.
Ayushma, what is your question, dear?
Ma'am, will we have different topics for all 3 rounds?
Who's going to answer that question for us? Is somebody going to answer that for us? You've all been listening. Yeah, Anvi, you want to answer that?
Can I answer, ma'am?
Yes, go ahead, take a stand.
There will be 2 topics. One topic will be given for round 1 and round 2, and we have to do both proposition and opposition. And then in the third round, we will be given the second topic 1 hour before. So they will tell us if we have to do proposition or opposition.
That's good.
Thank you very much. Ayushma, is that
ma'am.
clear? So just think about it. What we did is to make it easier for you. We said we'll give you the topic and one debate we'll do for the motion and next debate Ayushma's team will do against the topic. So she's preparing the same topic. It becomes easier for her to think about. So should zoos be banned? So you can think whether they should be banned. They don't have to be banned. You are ready. So when the motion, the sides or the stands get released, then one time you'll go for, one time you'll go against. But on the last topic, we'll give you the topic earlier, but we'll just tell you which side to speak on the same day. But we'll just try to see if we can do it a little earlier. Afreen ma'am is being very strict about it. I'll just have a chat with her. Right, Afreen ma'am? This is the junior most category. Yes, any more doubts? Because see, this session is for you. We are just 47 of us. I just want to make sure all of you are super comfortable, right? Like I said, we will release the teams in some time. You saw that some people have come back and forth on dates. So allow us, we will release the teams. We will make sure we give you some time tomorrow to say, come and meet your team if you haven't met them. Otherwise, we'll tell you how to introduce yourself on the room, right? In case you are teams who don't know each other, who are from different teams, different schools, different cities, don't worry about it. Sometimes most of the time we've seen strangers work the best together because they take it very seriously. So don't worry if you don't know your earlier debater. You just need to decide who's going to be first speaker, who is going to think on the spot, so can be the second speaker, who feels strongly about being the third speaker, right? So just have that discussion. We'll do that. Yeah, Rudra, what's your doubt? Rudra, you want to ask a doubt, please? Okay.
So we do understand that debates oftentimes and not can get very exciting, and therefore people can deviate from the standard behavior, which is basically being nice, polite, which is why we have strong equity rules that we want to discuss with you, because I know that like debaters are very enthusiastic. Just because you have prepared for the topic and you're very confident, does not mean so it does not mean that you're going to be disrespectful. So the idea is be respectful to your opponents. You're supposed to not question the character, the person, but you're supposed to question their arguments and their content. Okay, so you cannot say that they did not know how about this topic, or you cannot make such statements. Okay, so be very polite, be very respectful. If you are there to listen them, they're also there to listen to you. So respect is very mutual. If you respect them, they respect you, and you should be taking care of that. But if you think the opponents aren't respecting you, the equity officer is going to make sure that actions are taken against them. But before that, we'll have a quick inquiry of what exactly happened. Okay, so I think that should we release the motions now?
Yes, Afreen ma'am. Rudra, Advait, do you have a doubt, or your hand is just up?
Yes, ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes, go ahead.
You said that in the first 2 rounds there will be the same topic. So if the both will get a chance to do proposition and opposition, so it can happen that the examples can be same. So is that fine?
Yeah. If you can justify it either side, you can use same examples.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's start with the round 1 and round 2 motion. The round 1 and 2 motion is this house regrets the glorification of Ivy League universities. Ivy League universities are Princeton, Yale, Harvard, Oxford. They're basically very prestigious universities outside India, abroad. So the glorification means that, like over appreciation of all these universities, which means that even if I'm studying in, let's say, a school, I'm saying that, what, after this school, I want to go to Harvard and study, rather than saying that, hey, I want to study in India, like in a prestigious university in India. So glorification basically looks like over appreciating one thing over the other and undermining other things, which are basically Indian universities, or let's say other universities per se. So you regret the idea that, people are giving more importance to Ivy League universities. Are there any questions with this motion?
So I do want to make sure that Afreen and ma'am has added a little bit of a trick over here. When you say regret, then the proposition side says that we shouldn't be glorifying, or we shouldn't be talking about, highlighting the universities that are abroad, the Ivy universities, because you know what, Delhi University is very nice, Pune University is very nice, Ashoka University is very nice. So you must understand the proposition is regretting the glorification. They don't agree with it, right? So there's a twist to the motion. And whereas the opposition will talk about the fact that, the fact is that today also US education attracts the best minds. And why is that so? And I don't want to give you the tips right now, because there'll be so much research you can do on your own, along with your parents guiding you. But this is a question to think about. Okay, so this is something that you can research both ways, because you will anyways go for and you will anyways go against it. Is that okay? Is this motion very clear and understood by everyone? Is it a good motion? Do you like the motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. I'm so relieved. I was so worried about that one. And what will we do in round 3, Afreen ma'am?
Okay, before that, I would like to take specific questions for round 1 and round 2. Purvansh, do you have a question?
No, ma'am. Actually, the question was pertaining to round 3. You said that the topic would be given like 1 hour prior.
Yeah, I think
No, I think the side will be given. Yeah, just the side. So I will give you the topic right now, but you won't know whether you're proposition or opposition one answer.
Okay, ma'am. That clarifies.
Because as we go towards like higher round, we want to make it more like difficult for the students and debaters, so that we can find the best debaters. So that yeah.
Adrishi, what did you understand there? Do you want to unmute yourself?
Ma'am, I actually didn't understand round 1 and the topic of round 1 and round 2.
So do you want to read the topic of round 1? Speak out where it's written.
I want to give opportunity to somebody who understood it and let us know as to what you understood about it. Okay. Is there anyone who can explain it to me?
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yeah,
just a second.
Okay, so if we had to choose teams, like for example, we've already chose 2 more people to add into our group of 3 people. So is that possible or not?
One second, Rudra. So we'll not come into the logistics. Let's talk about the motion. Adrishi, can you read the motion? Do you know where the motion is written right now on the slide? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, lovely. So do you want to read it along? Or do you want us to read it once?
No, I'll read it.
Okay. What's your question?
Let us just read the motion. My worry is also the lag. Has everybody else understood the motion? Do you want this? Can somebody else understand the motion? And
remove the idea. Just forget about this house. Just say that on proposition, say as to why Ivy League universities should not be glorified. And on opposition, you say as to why Ivy League universities can be glorified. There is no harm in it.
Yeah. So what we will do, I just want to make sure all of you are comfortable. Afreen ma'am will give you a voice note on the group as well. Just a quick clarification on the motion, okay? But Adrishi, just want to make sure, are you comfortable? Because this house normally is just a parlance that is used for debating, right? That we all don't like the idea of talking highly about foreign universities, right? Because we think there are universities in India which are good.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the only thing that is written, that this house regrets. When I regret something, I don't feel good about it, right? I regret it. So I don't like the idea of you talking always about Stanford, Harvard, not Stanford, Oxford, Yale. You know what? Because I think Pune University, Delhi University, Ashoka University. There's so many universities in India who are also coming up. And India is anyways doing so well in some every other fields. Why not education? Because education is our overall theme, right? So when you are for the motion, you'll be talking about that. When you're against the motion on the other side, so you prepare both sides. Now, Adrishi, if I were you, I know that I have to do a 3-minute speech. I would prepare for 180 to 200 words for my speech, for the motion also, against the motion also. Because any which way, both of the sides will be used. Okay, when I'm thinking against the motion, then I will just think about the fact that no, you know what? The fact is that the world-class universities still are abroad. US education system is still looked upon. So do ask your parents to help also, any senior that you have. After when you send this across to the group, just say round 1, and round 2 separately, and just type the same motion out. Stance will be different. Okay, so Rudra, do you have a question?
About the motion.
Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, for this house regrets the glorification of Ivy League universities. So basically, it's going to be for round 1 and round 2, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
because the only thing that we will change in both the rounds is that one time you motion and one time you speak against the.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Archie. Okay, Mayuk,
Yes,
what's your
ma'am.
question? Okay, go on.
Like will for round 1 and round 2 we have proposition or opposition? Will that also be given 1 hour prior the debate?
So you will get it like just like 15 or 30 minutes before, because like you're anyway supposed to prepare for or against. So whenever you get to know whether you're against or for, you should just take out your like notes and then read it. I don't think there is a specific.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you will anyways do both sides, right?
Yeah.
Mayuk, what's your question?
Ma'am, I do not understand the meaning of glorification.
Appreciation. Glorification is when you appreciate one thing more than other. You give more importance to one thing more than other. So let's say when you glorify soldiers, you say that soldiers are the best. We don't have other professions like doctors. So when you glorify soldiers, you say that soldiers, like their contribution is the most towards the nation. But let's say doctors, farmers aren't doing the best. That's called glorification of soldiers. So when you give glorification to Ivy League universities, you you underappreciate other universities that are existing.
Ma'am, I have one last doubt. Okay, so let's say for round 1, you're speaking in proposition and then in opposition for round 2. So in round 3, will it be opposition or will it change back to proposition?
That will be random, because round 3 is going to be based on your power pairing, right? Because let's say you won round 1 and you also won round 2, and then you will be having 2 points then, right? So you will be paired against somebody who has won both rounds. So you can get proposition or opposition, which is very random. So it's not something which we decide. It's the software, the
Because
AI that
software decides that.
yeah.
Is it okay? So you'll get to know then only. We'll be releasing it on the groups, the WhatsApp groups. We'll help you through that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just like quickly go over round 3 motion. Round 3 motion is this house believes that education must prioritize life skills over job market requirements. What are life skills then? Life skills include cooking, sewing, well-being, and other things that help you live your life. Job market is basically when you like specifically emphasize things like maths, science, also commerce it could be. But life skill is something that you use in general life. So it could just be, let's say, things that you do in general. Like you need cooking in order to, survive because you can eat. You need sewing in order to like have good clothes. All of that. So do you think, or the motion is should education prioritize life skills over the job market requirement, or should education give more importance to job market? So proposition is going to say, listen, life skills are more important than job market, and opposition is going to say that no, job market is more important for life skills.
So let's just pause over here, all of you. Tell me, what are the life skills that school teaches you?
Yes.
What do you learn at school? What are the other subjects you're learning at school?
Yes, life discipline is a life skill.
It could be a life skill, yeah.
Manners, yes. Honesty.
Value. Honesty is a value, Divya. Helping, yeah. helping Arohi, respecting others. So these are life skills, right? Which is over and above the subject of maths, science, correct? So that's what she's saying, that which is more important? Should education prioritize life skills, or should they talk about the skills that are required for getting a good job? You know maths, so you can calculate. You know computers, so you can do some coding, right? You know English, so you can be a writer. So that's what the topic is. It's a very simple topic if you think about it. I'm so glad all of you have talked about life skills actually. Job is not a life skill, Advay, but values are the examples I'm hearing you all say. I really like this conversation. So should we be talking about these life skills of having good values, having some ways of looking after ourselves? So if today, if I have to live up on my own, who's going to cook for me? Who's going to look after me? Who's going to stitch my clothes? So are those more important, or are the subjects more important? That's what the topic is about. So is the topic very simple and clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the only tricky part that Afreen ma'am has left us is that she has not told us when will we get the stamps. Afreen ma'am, if we can release it a day earlier, that would be lovely. Otherwise, the topic itself, the way we like to encourage to think, and this is for all the parents and the students, is we want you to think about the topic holistically, right? We do know that you have to make speeches out of it, but that's okay. As long as you've thought about the topic, you need to just think about your 3 arguments or 2 arguments. Okay, if I'm going to say cooking is more important than learning maths, what's my argument number 1? What's my argument number 2? So when you give an argument, we want you to give an evidence to it. We want you to give an example for it, right? Statement, evidence, and example. C framework. See what you're seeing in that argument. Okay, so if I'm going to say, so just focus on that. And I'll greatly encourage you, speak what you understand. We don't want you using very big words which you can't remember, because we've seen often the children are giving speeches, but we can make out that they can't even understand what they're saying. So it's good to take help. But when you take help from your elders, understand the point. Why is it that you're saying maths is more important than cooking, for example? Right? So just understand the topic, because what will happen is in a debate, unlike a speech, you have to think. You've just heard your opposition team say something. So you might want to say, well, I disagree with Vihan's point because, unlike what my opposing team had said, we disagree because of that. So when you to think on your feet, you must at least understand the topic. Yes, Yuvraj?
Ma'am, please can you explain the topic again?
Yes, of course we can. Afreen ma'am, can you just show the topic? Are you talking about which round, Yuvraj? Are you talking about all of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Afreen ma'am, over to you.
Okay. So round 1, proposition would say that we should not give importance to Ivy League universities, and you would give reasons as to why you should not give a lot of importance and appreciation to Ivy League universities. Opposition would say that there is no harm in giving importance and appreciation to Ivy League university, right? The second motion is that should we give priority to life skills, or should we give priority to job market skills? For example, should we give priority, like in your school, do you want to, would you like to learn about cooking and sewing, or would you like to just learn about math, science, etc.? Right? So math, science probably gives you a job, but life skills basically gives you the ability to live your life to the best. Okay, so proposition in round 3 motion would say that yes, education must prioritize life skill over subjects like maths and science. And opposition would say no, education should not prioritize life skills, and would establish as to why there are more importance given towards subjects like maths, science, social sciences, etc. Did you understand it? Are there any more doubts?
No, ma'am.
All right. Purvansh?
Yes, ma'am. This is a query pertaining to the theme of the event. So if you were to connect the topic with the theme of Hydra snare, so could you give an example of how this is to be represented? The Hydra and the snare form to referring to
Yeah, so
yesterday.
Hydra Slam just basically talks about sources of education and different ways how people get education and different forms and philosophies related to education, which is why the topic is pertaining to, okay, like, should we get education from traditional conventional universities or like from universities which are abroad, like Ivy League universities? This is why the first motion and the second, like the first motion is the way it is. The third motion is towards like whether education should focus more towards life skills or should it be towards getting a job, because life skills are also really important, which means that the idea is that problem existing right now is that people are very good with respect to math problems and science, etc., but they don't probably have good social skills, good ability to sustain their lives. Because even if you get a job, you probably don't know how to cook, which becomes really difficult because then you're dependent on somebody else. So this is the relation towards Hydra Snare. If you don't want to give specific arguments in your like in your debate related to Hydra Snare, that's okay, because the theme is just to give you a hint of what kind of motions can come. It's not necessarily for you to make arguments related to the theme itself.
Okay, so the marking would not actually allude to that.
Yeah, it is nothing related to that. Yes. Yeah.
This is only on the topic now. Yeah. Any other thoughts, any other doubts? What we can do, Afreen, I will encourage you to do that, is just to give a nice voice notes on the topics so that the students and the parents can listen to it at their leisure as well, instead of going through the entire recording. Okay, with that, so there are two things that we owe to you. We are just looking at the comments that have come in for the teams. Though the teams have got locked, we just want to audit it before we release it. There are two things that are going to happen. One is that we had asked you all, who did you want to partner with? And I'm hoping that you had all put your preferred partner on the form, right? Most of you have put your preferred partner. If you put your preferred partner, they would have been paired up with them. Okay, so we are going to release the teams with that. If you haven't put a preferred partner, then any which way Ogly team enjoys pairing students together, right? Afreen, what are the three criteria that we use when we pair the students together dynamically?
So firstly, if you have put, even if one preference of, listen, Rudra wants to pair up with Naitik, we will pair you together. But if there is no preference written, we would then see, okay, which class are you in? And do you have a debating experience? So if you are within the same class, we would see if you have matching debating, like debating credits and experience. So people with similar debating experience are paired up together. People in
Afreen ma'am is glitching, I think so. So the point is, we will use that combination, make the teams for you, and we will give you some time, and we will tell you how to introduce yourself. Okay, so we will give you a team number. We will tell you to put your name and your team number on the group so that the other student can quickly figure out, okay, you are a person who's their group. Then what I typically always say is that why don't you all make your own WhatsApp group of the team, right? It's important. The team just works well, shows best. So normally I'm just giving you a pro tip because Afreen ma'am isn't listening, is that when we are three of us in a team, we must just agree to say, hey, listen, do you have more experience? Are you more comfortable with the opening speech? So who's going to be the first speaker, second speaker, third speaker? And I'm just giving you a little bit of a pro tip over here, that somebody who's just doing it for the first time isn't feeling very comfortable with taking a debate rebuttal or a conversation immediately on the fly. Like, I can't quickly think, it's a difficult topic. It's the first time I'm doing it. Can be the first speaker, because you're just giving your speech, you're setting the context to say, this is what the topic is, this is how we interpret it. So you can always define the topic. That, for example, the topic would be, like I said, that my mother allows me to have chocolates. So I could have defined chocolates as dairy milks only, or I could have also defined chocolates to include the milk chocolate, which is a substitute to my glass of milk in the evening. I don't have time. I'm running to my tennis match. Hence, I just took a bite of the milk chocolate. So you can define what the word chocolate is. Every word in the motion with the first speaker tends to define it. That this is what we understand from the motion, and these are our two arguments. The second speaker could be typically a person who's got a little experience or feels little confident to do the rebuttal, which is to say, we just heard our proposition speaker say this, but this is the two reasons why we agree or we disagree with them, right? And the third speaker tends to normally conclude. In conclusion, we think our team won because of this reason. All right. Yes, Javi, what's your question?
Ma'am, are there any reply speeches?
We've not put reply speeches on this one, Javid, and we have not put points of information as well. At least on this qualifier round.
Perfect, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, Javid. So, is there any question? Then this is a safe book. Please feel free to ask questions. That's okay, perfectly. Otherwise, you can always point to put it on the group after you've done some thinking. Okay. Yes, Yajash.